الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا كبيرا.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Dear viewers and listeners, and welcome to this evening's program of Halqatul Qur'an with your host Muntahaa Ebrahim, coming to you over the airwaves of Salam Media. And wherever you are following from in terms of wherever you find yourself in the world, we welcome you to this program and the show every Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. South African time. Alhamdulillah, this program is brought to you by Africa Muslims Agency. Yes, and a show dedicated to the recitation of the glorious Qur'an. We are indeed honored to have a special guest this evening. But before we go to our special guest, I'm sure many of our listeners and viewers have been following the programs over the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks at least, when South Africa, so to say, were taken by storm by a young reciter from Pakistan in the form of Qari Abdul Rashid Abdul Razak, and he visited and traveled to quite a number of our provinces and cities, from Cape Town to KwaZulu-Natal, and thereafter to Gauteng and Polokwane as well, where he recited the glorious Quran. And subhanallah, many of our viewers or those who were present and following the recitations and the tour were taken in by not only his beautiful and immaculate recitation of the Quran, but also with his beautiful mannerism and how he carries himself as a representative and a reciter and carrier of the glorious Quran. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless him in that and to grant him further success wherever he goes in the world. And indeed, with that also being said, an opportunity it was for us to engage and to expose ourselves to reciters of Quran, of the glorious Quran from the land of Pakistan. Of course, we're not very much familiar with reciters from Pakistan. It is some, yes, we are. We know that we've got reciters from Egypt, from the different Arab countries, even from various African countries, reciters of note. But in terms of the Asian population, yes, we've had reciters from Malaysia many times in our country, also from Indonesia at times. Well, a few weeks ago, there was a reciter from Indonesia, Qari Shamsuri, also was traveling in our country. But it's not very common that we had a reciter from Pakistan traveling the country at length. And this time we were introduced by this young reciter by the name of Qari Abdul Rashid Abdul Razak, and indeed it was quite a very extraordinary meeting and being able to listen, an opportunity to listen to the recitation of the Quran by this young gentleman. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. But now taking it one step further, we are indeed extremely honored and blessed this evening that we will be joined by one of the teachers of this young man, and that is none other by Qari Anwaar Hassan, also from Pakistan, and this time joining us live from Lahore. You will be joining us inshallah in the next few seconds, coming on our screens, and we will be having the ability, the opportunity to engage with Qari Sahib and also listen to our Honorable Qari Sahib recite some verses of the glorious Quran, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah, Qari Sahib, how are you this evening?
Alhamdulillah, I'm quite fine. And how about you? MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah, I'm very good, Qari Sahib. So we understand that Qari Abdul Rashid was one of your students, and you should actually admonish him and punish him because he did not teach us enough Urdu for the time that he was around. So I could not greet you properly and welcome you properly in the Urdu language.
Well, I'm here to speak with you in English, no problems.
Alhamdulillah, Jazakumullah khairan. But like we said, in the introduction, he was an outstanding, he is an outstanding gentleman, an outstanding
MashaAllah.
reciter of the Quran, and we were very, very pleased with him and happy with him in terms of every aspect of him being here and his presentation in South Africa. Allah bless him and accept his travel and accept everything what he does and grant him khair in terms of his future. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. And also,
MashaAllah. May Allah accept his services for Quran and accept our services and your services for Quran, inshallah ta'ala.
Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Qari Sahab, a bit off the topic. Today is a very significant day in your country. It is a day where I would believe that the mood is of excitement. Even where I am in Cape Town, I was early on in one of our communities, and we saw the Pakistani flag being draped over shops and people looking very jubilant for this particular
MashaAllah.
day. So if you can just
MashaAllah.
describe the mood in Pakistan at this particular point and the reason why we are so happy at this particular time in Pakistan.
Well, Alhamdulillah, today is the 14th August 2025, and almost 78 years ago, Pakistan got independence from India, and Alhamdulillah, ta'ala, today is the Independence Day of Pakistan. And also, few months ago, there was a combat between India and Pakistan. And Alhamdulillah ta'ala, all the Muslim countries were looking forward to Pakistan. And Alhamdulillah ta'ala, according to the expectations of all the Muslim Ummah, we were the winners, Alhamdulillah ta'ala. So today, 14th August, was one of the most auspicious and one of the most important Independence Days in the history.
MashaAllah. May Allah continue to bless the people of Pakistan and may the nation grow in terms of goodness and be a role model for other Muslim nations and Muslim minorities also throughout the world. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen.
Inshallah, Aziz.
But Qari Sahab, the reason for our coming together this evening is not to speak about Pakistan, but rather to speak about Qur'an and to engage about Qur'an, and also the opportunity to listen to your beautiful voice in terms of the recitation of the Qur'an, inshallah. You may proceed, inshallah, فَلْيَتَفَضَّلْ مَشْكُورًا with the recitation of the Qur'an.
Barakallah fiqh, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات كانت لهم جنات الفردوس نزلا خالدين فيها لا يبغون عنها حولا قل لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي لنفذ البحر قبل أن تنفذ كلمات ربي لنفد البحر قبل أن تنفد كلمات ربي ولو جئنا بمثله مددا إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات كانت لهم جنات الفردوس نزلا خالدين فيها لا يبغون عنها حولا. قل لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي لنفد البحر قبل أن تنفد كلمات ربي ولو جئنا بمثله مددا. قل لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي لنفد البحر قبل أن تنفذ كلمات ربي ولو جئنا بمثله مددا. قل إنما أنا بشر مثلكم يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد. فمن كان يرجو لقاء ربه فليعمل عملا صالحا ولا يشرك بعبادة ربه أحدا. فمن كان يرجو لقاء ربه فليعمل عملا صالحا ولا يشرك بعبادة ربه أحدا. فمن كان يرجو لقاء ربه فليعمل عملا صالحا ولا يشرك بعبادة ربه أحدا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. خلق الإنسان من علق.
اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى أن رآه استغنى إن إلى ربك الرجعى. صدق الله العظيم. بارك الله فيكم وفيكم.
ما شاء الله, barakallahu feekum, ya Sheikh. Jazakumullah khairan, shukran for that amazing recitation of the Qur'an. And
Alhamdulillah. Barakallah feekum.
alhamdulillah, and also very appropriate verses of the Quran, seeing that we are on the night preceding Jum'ah. And Sheikh, if you don't mind, if I may engage with you a few more minutes and take some advice from you also. Alhamdulillah, you are engaged in terms of teaching the Quran in Pakistan, and there are, I'm sure, many prominent reciters, and young reciter was groomed under your capable hands. You make dua that Allah accept all your efforts in that regard. I want to ask if there are reciters, some of our reciters are watching the program right now, if there are any advice for those who are yearning to become a very good reciter of the Quran. How should he condition himself? How should he or she condition herself in preparing to become a reciter of the Quran, looking after their bodies, after their voice, and certain aspects that they should remember and keep in mind whilst becoming reciters of the Quran?
نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. First of all, I would like to say that I would like to recite the small verse of Quran. Inna nahnu nazzalna al-dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we have revealed the Quran and we will protect the Quran. So, first of all, inshallah ta'ala, may Allah accept our services and accept all of us who are listening to this program for the services of Quran, inshallah al-aziz. I would like to repeat the saying of one of the greatest Qari of this time. His name was Sheikh Abdul Basit Abdul Samad. Someone asked him, how should someone start learning to recite Quran beautifully? And the Sheikh said that, first of all, he has to listen to one of the Qaris. And one of the Qaris, or he has to listen a Qari of his own choice, and start listening to him. And the one who is the beginner, he must have to follow someone for grooming his voice, for polishing his voice. Once he will start following someone, then the next phase will come that he will start reciting. And the third phase will come that he will be reciting in his own voice, in his own style. The first phase according to me, yani, alhamdulillah, I'm engaged in reciting Quran for almost over 40 years. I mean, it's my experience that the beginner who will start reciting the Quran, he will follow a certain Qari for almost 5 years. And the next phase will come to him that he will start reciting what he has learned. And and it will be comprising 5 years again. And the next 5 years he will be preparing, and he will be maintaining his own particular style. So that's how these are the 3 phases of a Qari. So the next thing is, how should someone start listening and start following someone? Actually, the practice is not to we normally make a practice at home and we start with Auzubillah and with Sadaqallah. This is not the practice. You have to take the small portion of one of the Qari of your choice. Let's say you are fond of a Sheikh Mustafa Ismail. So you have to take only 2 ayat of his recitation, one of the portion. And I mean, if you keep following it for a month, it will be enough for you. It will be good for you to keep listening to it and following it. Listen to it, follow it. Try to mold your voice according to that sheikh. And this is how you should do the practice. And the most important thing is on the top in Tilawat al-Quran, the most important thing is tajweed. You should always emphasize and focus on tajweed of the Quran. Barakallahu feek.
Jazakumullah khairan, Sheikh. And reflecting on your personal journey with the Quran, Sheikh, if you can just give us an idea, how did you start as an individual? What inspired you? What was the first steps that you took in becoming a reciter? Particularly, who did you follow in your early days becoming a reciter before developing your own way of reciting? What was the journey like for you over particularly the beginning years?
Well, that is the most important question, and I would like to take a few minutes on that. Actually, as far as concerning my journey, my father was one of the great Qaris of his time. And alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted him, and he did his services for Quran for over 55 years. MashaAllah ta'ala. And actually, as far as concerning my journey, I started my journey from home. My main source of inspiration was my father, and then my elder brother. So I started listening to their recitation, their tilawat, and I really got inspired and I really got motivation. And the most important thing in my journey was that my father was himself a fond of listening to the Quran, and he used to listen to the Quran on the cassette player, and sometimes the voice was such a loud that we could all listen to the recitation. And by listening to those recitations in the cassettes, I got inspiration and I got motivation. Alhamdulillah ta'ala. And if someone of you of my age, like 40 years or 50 years, and they have children and they want their children to start reading Quran and reciting Quran beautifully, what they have to do is they must they must run Quranic recitation in such a normal voice that everybody in the house can listen to it, and that recitation will go into the ears and straight into the heart, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. Sheikh, I just want to convey greetings from one of our Qurra who's busy listening, Qari Sheikh Muhammad Mukhtar Abdul Aziz, and ahlan wa sahlan to him also, and shukran to him for his kind words. And also from our other Qurra, Qari Hassan Siddiq, mashallah, I note that you're also watching, mashallah, and everybody else is watching. We are fortunate to have Qari Anwaar Hassan with us live from Lahore in Pakistan. And of course, Qari Sahib is a renowned reciter of the glorious Qur'an, and also a
Alhamdulillah.
teacher of the Quran for many years. Qari Sabi just mentioned that more than 40 years he's been reciting the Quran. Allah bless him and accept all that recitation and all the effort that has gone into that. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen over all these years. Qari Sab, in terms of where you find yourself now in your recitation, sometimes we find that a Qari, he comes to a certain point in his life and he would say that I've reached my peak of my recitation. I've reached where I wanted to be in terms of my recitation. And going forward, where do you see yourself in your recitation in the next few years, Qari Sab?
Well, as far as concerning me, actually, the more I'm gaining my age, the more I'm feeling humble about myself that I cannot recite Quran. Actually, I don't consider myself as a Qari, and as the time passes, I'm feeling humble, and I feel that I must have learned more, and every day I learn, and even today when I start reciting Quran, I have to do practice, and uh, every day I feel that I should have learned more. I should have learned more, and I still consider myself as the most humble student, alhamdulillah ta'ala, and that's what everyone should do.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is so true. Also, that we are still students. Qari Sab, you just mentioned also. You mentioned something about practice.
Yes.
You mentioned about practicing before recitation, and obviously, when you practice, it entails a certain amount of warm up before we're going to go on to the stage or to the platform to recite the Quran. In terms of your personal practice that you do, and what you would advise others to do before they go and recite the Quran on the stage, what advice would you give?
Well, actually, what I have learned is that reciting Quran or a Qari is just like an athlete.
Yeah.
Let's say if an athlete who runs in 100 meters race and he wins a medal, and after winning a medal, the the authorities ask him to rest for a month or 2 months and do not participate or do not practice anything. And suddenly the authorities ask him to participate in Olympics and win the medal. Can he win the medal? No, he cannot, because his body, his mind, his all parts of the body is not prepared for the race and for the what you call the competition. So same is the case with the Qari. If the Qari is practicing, he can recite. He can recite. But if the Qari is out of practice, he's just like a beginner. So if someone has to recite, let's say after 5 days or 6 days, he can start practicing like. One day he can practice for 10 minutes, the next day he can practice for 15 minutes, and the third day he will practice for 20 minutes, and then that's how he can increase his time. So if someone has to do recitation for 10 minutes, he has to practice at home for almost half an hour. So that's how one should practice. And as I mentioned before, that if someone wants to learn how to recite Quran beautifully, he has to follow someone, and he has to take the small portion of the tilawat, like two ayat, like two ayat of particular sheikh, and practice it and practice it and practice it. And he practices so much that there is no difference between his voice and the sheikh he is listening to. So that's how he can learn. Once he learns two ayat, then he can move to the next two ayat, and the next two ayat will be more simpler than the first two ayat, and the next step will be more simpler. And that's how you can practice and start learning reciting Quran beautifully.
Subhanallah. And it is a process. It's not going to just happen and occur overnight. It is a process that one has to follow.
Yes, it wants some time. It wants really some time.
Yes. Sheikh, a common question that people often ask, and for those who are reciting, public reciters,
Yes.
is what do you eat and what don't you eat, and what should you stay away from? Should you have cold things? Should you have warm things while reciting? And what we notice also that it depends on the temperament of the individual. For example, you would find that generally our reciters from Egypt, they would not eat any spicy food. They would drink hot water or maybe honey water before they recite or during their recitation. You would find that obviously in terms of a certain exercises they would do, they maybe go gymming and so onwards. Now you maybe find someone from the east and he's got absolutely no problem in eating and consuming spicy food. He can eat it with no effect on his body. You find
Yes.
those they can eat even before the recitation. They can have an ice cream and it won't affect them at all. You'll find those who say, no, 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 stay away from smoking. It's going to spoil your voice. But then you find Qur'an from the senior of the Qur'an also, mashallah, the greatest of the Qur'an. They were known to have to consume and to smoke, and mashallah, their recitation was outstanding. So, well, obviously, it's from one to the other. It would differ. Generally,
So
what
you
is your advice to the reciter?
so you want the students to start smoking? Well, actually, it totally depends on the temperament of individual. Yes, that's right. That's absolutely right. Like me, when I don't have to recite for few days, I start drinking cold water and eat spicy food. Although I don't eat spicy food right now because of my age and because of my health issues, but as far as my idea is, you should eat everything. If you should eat everything you like, spicy food, bitter food, whatever the food you want, ice cream or anything. Because if you always take care of your throat, the more you take care, the sooner it will go bad. Got it? So but if you have to make practice, if you have to make recitation, let's say you have to do recitation in a gathering, for a few days you can stay away from these cold things like lemon or like ice creams or things like that. And before recitation, you can drink hot water so that your voice is smoother and there is no effect in your throat or in your voice. That's better way, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah. Qari Sab, I've taken a lot of your time, and also we need to be mindful of the fact that there is a time difference between South Africa and Pakistan. You are quite a few hours ahead of us, and it is late in your country also. And
Yes.
inshallah, we don't want to keep you for too long. But an important announcement that we need to make tonight, Qari Sab, and that announcement is that inshallah, if all goes well, Amin Ya Rabbal Alameen. Then Qarisab will be visiting us soon in South Africa. And Qarisab will
Inshallah.
be, inshallah, traveling South Africa and be part of the Quran competition in terms of being a judge and assisting on the judging panel at the Quran competition that will be taking place, the Quran competition finals that will be taking place in South Africa. Few weeks ago, we had the prelims taking place in Gauteng, in KwaZulu-Natal, and in Cape Town also. And now the final event will be within the next few weeks. And inshallah, if all goes well, and we make dua that Allah put barakah and goodness in this, that inshallah, by the end of this month, by the end of August, Qari Sab will be in South Africa, will be touring South Africa, going to different provinces and cities, and we will all have the opportunity to take benefit and to listen to the recitation of the Quran by Qari Anwaar Hassan, inshallah, right here
Inshallah.
in South Africa. Allah make that a reality. Ameen Ya Rabbal
Inshallah.
Alameen.
Allah make it easy for us, inshallah ta'ala. Inshallah al-Aziz. Barakallahu feekum wa fi ahlikum.
MashaAllah. Qari Sab, I want to say Jazakumullah khairan for sharing some time with us, for being with us, for
Barakallahu
engaging,
feekum.
giving us, also sharing some of your knowledge. And we look forward to taking further benefit from Qari Sab when you come to our shows, inshallah. And we hope that Allah keep you well in terms of your health, in terms of bless you with everything that is good, and grant you and your family, and in fact also your entire country during this time,
Inshallah.
whilst you
Inshallah.
are in celebration mood and also in the reflecting mood over the last almost 80 years since Pakistan has independence. Allah grant you all khair out of that. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen.
Sheikh Muntahaa Ebrahim, I really feel honored that you people have gave me the opportunity to talk to you and talk to your listeners. And inshallah ta'ala, may Allah put barakah into your life, into your everything. And inshallah ta'ala, I'll be seeing you very soon, inshallah al-Aziz. Barakallah fikum. Jazakumullahu khairan for having me in your program once again.
Shukran. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam. Walaikum assalam.
Alhamdulillah that we just listened and we, mashallah, we watched our Qari from Pakistan, Qari Anwaar Hassan, and as the announcement also was made now that Qari Anwaar Hassan will be in South Africa, inshallah, by the end of this month, by the end of August, and he will be touring different parts of the country and also being part of the International Quran Recital Award finals. It will be taking place also later on, or rather next month in September, of the period 12 to 14 September here in South Africa. He will be on the judging panel and the chief guest on this particular platform. And we say Jazakallah khairan to him for spending some time with us this evening and sharing his recitation of the Quran, sharing some of his knowledge with regards to preparing for reciting the Quran, and also may it be that we can continuously take benefit from our seniors, from those who are in the field of experience in the recitation of the Quran, and may it be also that they will be long with us so that we can continue to draw from the knowledge and the experience. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. That brings us to the end of this evening's edition of Halqatul Quran. It has been a great pleasure being in your company. Inshallah, until next week, from myself, Muntahaa Ebrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.